All right, so hey everyone, this is Real Talk, Real People, and as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, tremendously. It's my joint. It's what I like. A lot of you like it, so I thought I would go ahead and break down the family tree and bloodline because it's very interesting how all this works out. So bear with me. I'll try to make this one very quick because it gets a little confusing. So it's going to definitely need some context. Okay. So the first thing we have here, you have George Joestar. We're going to start with the Joestar line, right? So you got George Joestar, who's the father of Jonathan. He was married to Mary Joestar. There was a horrible carriage accident which killed Mary Joestar. Jonathan was still alive. George was barely alive. Dario Brando and his wife found the flipped over carriage and a dead Mary Joestar and a barely alive George Joestar. Dario's like, yo, let's rob these niggas, right? So Dario goes over there trying to grave rob them. And George is still alive. He's like, oh snap, he's still alive. And he's like, thank you for saving. George's like, thank you for saving me. And Dario's like, yeah, no problem, no problem. George's like, yo, I owe you a debt with my life. If you need anything, bro, you let me know. Dario's like, tight. Okay. So uh, later, Mary's dead. She's gone, X'd out. So you got Jonathan over here, son of them, Jonathan, very honorable Englishman, son of George, Joestar family. They have a mansion in England. They're just a really good family. Um, he, as a kid, um, he's in his English manner. He has a dog, a really nice dog. And then Dario's on his deathbed. He used to beat his son and shit and beat his wife. He's just a piece of shit, right? So Dio, his son, let's see here. Dio, his son, that's a younger Dio. And as a kid, he sent Dio to go live with George to repay the debt because he was dying. So Dio's like, man, I'm about to hit a lick on George. So Dio pretends to be the perfect son to George. George loves Dio, Brando, and he's like, you're the son I never had. Jonathan's like, wait, what's going on? Come on, I mean, I'm your son. But Dio always, outshined Jonathan. It was actually Dio's mission to fuck his life up and take everything away from Jonathan. Jonathan did nothing to Dio. Dio is just a dick, right? So, oh, and also Jonathan and Arena had a thing going on as kids, and they hadn't even kissed yet. Dio steals a kiss from Arena, which was very foul. Jonathan gets pissed as fuck, goes over there and knocks the shit out of Dio. Years later, it goes by. Dio finds a stone mask. Now, the stone mask was created by Cars, ACDC, WAMU, and Santana. These names may sound familiar. There's a lot of pop culture references in JoJo. Cars is the ringleader of the Pillar Men, which are an ancient race of humans that have, tons of power. Pillar Men. And they have a mask that can turn other humans or people into pillar men. These people are essentially vampires. They can't come out during the day. So Dio gets a stone mask, tries to slowly poison George Joestar, so he leaves everything to Dio. Jonathan finds out, doesn't work, with his help of honorable mention Robert E.O. Speedwagon. The mask gets on Dio's face because Dio's about to get shot to death by the police and turns him into a vampire, and he goes on a horrible rampage. It's only up to Jonathan to stop him. Years go by, they're on a boat. Dio comes through trying to kill Jonathan one last time. Jonathan stops Dio. The boat capsizes. I think it was the fucking Titanic. The Titanic capsizes. People get off the boat. It might not have been the Titanic. Could have been. Boat capsizes. Arena gets off. Prior to that, on their honeymoon, Jonathan already got her pregnant. So George was already in the womb. But there was another baby. There was another baby on the boat. And Irina took the baby with her. That's going to be important. So you have Dio sunk into the bottom of the ocean with Jonathan. Jonathan's dead. Dio's a vampire, so, you know, he's kind of dead. He's just like a severed head. That's going to be important later, right? All right, so you got George Joestar, who's the son of Jonathan. And you have the baby that was on the boat that Irina took with her. That's Elizabeth, or Lisa Joestar. I guess they grew up together, they had a kid, and they had Joseph Joestar, right? So there's Joseph. Joseph defeats Cars, ECDC, Wamu, and Santana, the Pillar Men, right? That's what part 2 is about, Battle Tendency. He uses his brains, he defeats these people. I mean, the chance of him actually beating these people is amazingly slim. So that's why Joseph is kind of well liked, because his intellect, by all accounts, he shouldn't have been able to beat 4 of these powerful vampires. No fucking way. No way. No way. No way. No way that was supposed to work. So he lives a life. He lives a very interesting life. And let's see here. But he's a player, though. He's lost in the player way. So he gets married to Susie Q. Now, Susie Q worked for his mom, Lisa, before he knew Lisa was his mom. Because Lisa left when he was a kid. He never really knew her. And, she don't age really that bad at all. She looks like that age when he meets her. Susie Q was like her maid. He's like, yo, I fuck with you, Susie Q. It was good. So they get together, and years go by, and Joseph doesn't look like this. Joseph actually looks like this. Joseph was fucking around, went over to Japan, and he fucked this young Japanese chick. They had a kid, Josuke Hishigata. So Josuke is the son of Joseph. That's going to be important. Now, part 3, Susie Q's older, but they didn't age her up. So he has a daughter with Susie Q, and her name is Holly Cujo, because she got married to Josuke's father, right? So Holly is, Holly didn't get married to Josuke's father. Got married to, Holly is the daughter of Susie Q and Joseph. See, it gets confusing. So Holly has a son with Sadao Kujo, which is the Japanese guy. So remember, she's English, he's Japanese. They have a baby, and that baby is the grandson of Joseph, Jotaro Kujo, right? Jotaro Kujo. So Jotaro Kujo is the grandson of Joseph, and they went on an adventure to go ahead and stop Dio. At this point, Dio came back, but he was just ahead, right, when the boat sank. Dio's ass went ahead and cut off Jonathan's head somehow, I guess with his vampire power, and put his head on Jonathan's body. So now Jonathan and Dio are actually one. So Dio's head on Jonathan's corpse, and Dio developed the power of the stand. He developed the power of the stand, the world, which he can stop time and stuff. So not only is he an ultra powerful vampire, he's got the power to manifest his soul in a metaphysical entity that can actually stop time. He's an ultra threat. Ultra threat. Right. So Jotaro, as a high schooler with his grandfather Joseph, defeat Dio at some point. Now, after that, that's part 3. Part 4 is about Josuke Hishigata, who is actually the illegitimate son of Joseph. At this point, Joseph's a lot older, so he's looking like this in part 4. Josuke Shigata, that's part 4. Josuke finally meets his dad, but they're kind of estranged, and he doesn't really fuck with him because he's mad that Joseph just had him and left his mom, right? And Josuke's grandfather on his mom's side is the police chief of Morio, which is the town they live in. So during part 4, there's a little baby that actually had developed stand abilities. So they take the baby in. The baby can go invisible. So they put like little powder on the babies and like glasses and a costume so they can actually see the baby. So Joseph adopts that baby named Shizuku Joestar, right? I'm assuming that when the baby gets older, the baby will be able to control the invisibility and whatnot, right? So you see Jotaro in part 3, Jotaro in part 4, so maybe he's like 27 here. Jotaro in part 5, 30s. Jotaro part 6, probably 39, maybe 40, around there. So Jotaro has a baby with Jolene's mother, who we don't know who that is, and has Jolean Kujo, right? So Jolean Kujo is the daughter of Jotaro, and that's where that Joestar bloodline ends there. Now, this is where it gets complicated. Because remember what I said, Dio took the body of Jonathan. So Dio's head, severed vampire head, Jonathan's body, Dio, manifestation of vampire and metaphysical world power. So at that point, once he took Jonathan's body, he was just shooting up everybody's club. Mad kids, unnamed women's, right? So he has a baby with, and he's a vampire, so he's eating these women for the most part. Some of them he's smashing and not eating because he has discipline. So Giorno's stepfather, Giorno's mom cheated on Giorno's stepfather with Dio one night. I don't know what happened. And they created Giorno Giovanna, also the Italian JoJo. So technically speaking, Giorno Giovanna is, since it's Jonathan's body, this is how crazy it is. Giorno Giovanna is technically the son of Dio or Jonathan or both of them. So Giorno Giovanna is the son of Jonathan, which makes Giorno the half blood brother by relation of George Joestar. It would make him the or half brother of George Joestar. It would make the stepbrother of Lisa, which then would technically make Giorno Giovanna Joseph's uncle, right? Which then makes Giorno, who's younger than Josuke and Jotaro, the great uncle of Josuke Hishigata, and would actually make Giorno the great uncle of Jotaro Kujo. Now Giorno's the youngest, right? At that point, and then Jolean comes into play. So technically Jolean's the youngest, but if we're talking about just this timeline, he's the actual great grand uncle and grandfather, or great grand uncle of all of these people, of both George, Joseph, Josuke, and Jotaro, and even Holly. But he's the second youngest because he stole Jonathan's body. That's a mindfuck. But then that also means that Josuke Hishigata is the uncle. Josuke Hishigata is technically the great uncle of Jotaro, even though Jotaro's older than Josuke Hishigata. And then that would make Josuke Hishigata the uncle of Holly Cujo. Does that? No, they're both kids. So that makes them half brother, half sister of Holly. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just wild? And then Dio had a few other kids on the side by unknown women. One son, whose stand is Bohemian Rhapsody, Ungalo. Then you got Donatello Versace, or just Versace for short, the son of Dio Versace with Underworld. And then his other son, Raquel, who controls rods. So those are Dio's three sons. So then it kind of gets a little different too, because then you have Dio's in part 6, which is just Dio's bone. And then Dio's bone becomes the green baby. That sounds weird. So then the green baby fuses with Father Pucci. Now, Father Pucci is just Dio's friend from back during part 3, or a little bit before part 3 started. And then the green baby and Pucci merge together, and Pucci just gets a boost in power, and he's Enrico Pucci. And then his stand goes from White Snake and becomes Sea Moon, and then from Sea Moon to Made in Heaven. Now, on Pucci's side of the family, remember, Pucci and Weather Report are twin brothers. They're twin brothers. Pucci's black, and Weather Report appears white. And then there's Perla Pucci. So here's the deal. Perla Pucci is the half sister of Domenico, aka Weather Report, and Enrico, or Father Pucci. Domenico Pucci was taken at birth by another woman. Basically, a woman had a miscarriage and then took this baby as her own, and no one said anything at the hospital. I guess because they felt bad for her. So Weather Report was not raised with Enrico and Perla. Now, why is Enrico black if Perla's white? Enrico's stepfather, and he thought was his father, was just some Italian white guy. So the Italian white guy is Perla's father. However, Enrico's father is a black man. Weather Report, Domenico's father is a black man. So I don't know how it happened. Enrico's darker, like his father, and then Domenico passes for white, but he's actually black. So, you get the whole kind of mulatto type, like, this gets intricate. So, so that's kind of what happened. It's kind of wild. The JoJo bloodline, I know that was kind of very hard to understand. Maybe a lot of you got it. I hope I explained it very well. But yeah, these parts are tight. And this is just one timeline, because I'm about to get in part 7. And I believe part 7 feeds into part 8. And that's a whole different timeline because of what happened in part 6. So yeah, y'all need to get into JoJo so we can talk the JoJo talk. And real talk, real people. Context is everything. Oh my God.